Hello. There is nobody watching. All right, here we are. It's Thursday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I should be drawing, but I'm not. It's a beautiful day outside. I should be outside, and I'm not. Instead, I'm just sitting here on the computer, coloring and looking at the what we have left of the Kilgore Kickstarter, which is 32 hours away from closing out. And it is sitting at 39,019. Pretty awesome. Hey, what's up, Lance? What's going on? I was debating with myself. Should I put the link in the in the comments again, like I did last time, or not? I just don't know if I should do that. I think I was lucky last time that everybody that showed up was pretty cool. I'm a little nervous, but I think everybody is pretty cool who watches this. I don't know. Should I put the link? I'll let you decide. Let's see. So yeah. How much of this do I get? I think I get most of it. I think 20 grand is mine. No, I don't think I get any of it. I think I'll get royalties from the comics that are a part of the campaign, and I think the money maybe goes back into publishing. I'm not really sure exactly how it all pans out, but that's pretty good considering that the goal was 27 and a half. So yeah, it's great. Thank you. I do touch my mustache a lot. Yeah, wouldn't that be amazing? All right. So I guess I don't know how much attention I want to give to this Kickstarter on its last day. Is that my job? I guess I should talk about it more. I don't know. I'll put it out there, but by the time a lot of people watch this video, it's going to be over. They're not going to have a chance to get this Blammo book anymore. It'll be gone. That's it. They're only printing as many as they sell, just to keep it very rare and desirable. So if I were you and you have any kind of even a minor interest in it, I would pick it up now before it's too late and you have to go on eBay and get a copy of the book that's $500. Yeah. And then look at all this amazing. Last time we did this stream, we laughed about how there was just a cover of this Blammo book and then no interior art at all, like no examples of what's inside the book at all. It's just like old comics that are really bad, you know? Yeah, sorry, man. It's true. Would anybody be interested in coming in and chatting? If not, I could show you something. Let's see. I gotta always look around my mic to figure out how to use this this thing here. Let's see. Stop. Share. This book right here. Tomorrow I'm gonna do a chat with Glenn Head about this book, which he has coming out from Fantagraphics soon. If not, I don't think it's out yet. I think it comes out in a few days. But this book's amazing. I read this. He sent me a copy of this, like a galley copy of it, right after he finished it to read, so that I could give a blurb for it. And I was like stunned by it. I loved it. Such an awesome book. So now it's actually a real mass-produced book, and it's about to hit the market. And I'm gonna talk to him about it and make a video about it, because Glenn's been around forever. You know, he edited the Hotwire comics anthologies, and he had a comic series in the 90s for Fantagraphics called Gutter Snipe. He's really awesome. He's a great cartoonist and a great guy. So I'm excited to have a chat with him. Oh yeah. Hey man, thanks for coming on. That was fun. Thank you. That's another thing. Like I'm going back and forth about if I want to do another Fonte book, or not like a book, but maybe just like a mini comic of Fonte Bukowski. See if I can make him into a Southern writer or a wannabe Southern writer. I shouldn't be showing all this stuff, but look how, I don't know. Yeah, it's incredible. Everything's like so densely illustrated, and he does it with a brush. It's beautiful. So I don't mind promoting a little bit of Glenn Head. Yeah, let's see. So there it is. There's the link. If you want to hop in, say hello. I could use it. I've been sitting around by myself. Yeah, it's incredible. You should pick up this book. Damn, I should have put a link in the description. It's called Chartwell Manor, and it's Glenn Head's story. It's like his memoir of this private school that he went to that was really abusive. It's insane. It's an insane story, and I think you'll like it. Yeah. You know what else I'm reading? Hey, this will surprise you, I think. Action Comics #1. Are you jealous? I'm just reading it, and then I'm going to put it back in the plastic, and then I'm going to bury it in the walls for the future, and maybe somebody will be lucky enough to do some housework, uncover it, and become very wealthy. Look at that. Look how big it actually was. What a big comic. Can you believe Action Comics was this large? There's a little bit of damage, but yeah, you got to give me a break here. It's a very old comic. It's from 1938. So some of the pieces are missing. Some of the pages are torn out. And surprisingly, this copy of it lasted through the paper drives of World War II. And it's in my collection now, and it's worth over $1 million, I think, right? Isn't that what they sell for these days? So yeah, I'm going to hold on to this one, and then maybe my son will be very rich someday. I just want to show this off and make sure that everybody can be jealous. Besides Superman, by the way, the comics in this issue are really bad. That's a shitty ass comic. Yeah. Do I have a plan to stay productive? I got some pretty good advice from other cartoonists, and I think it's using my time more wisely. So somebody told me that if you have 45 minutes, you got to take advantage of that 45 minutes. It's like as soon as your baby goes to sleep, it's like you just got to go to the desk and try and get one thing done. And that's only for the first few months. I mean, I might not be drawing at all for the first few months, but I think later on I'll try and, I don't know. You know what though? Honestly, it's probably good for me to slow down anyway. This is going to be good for me. This is going to be really healthy because I work too much. I do too much stuff, and it's killing me. I know it is. Yeah, I'm going to sell it eventually. I want to finish reading it, and then I'll sell it because I know that it's worth a lot of money. Geez. There's a little bit of water damage on it, but I don't think that's really going to be a problem, do you? And yeah, the paper is a little brittle. Oh shit! No. Well, it can be taped, I think, and then I think it'll still be. Well, still worth something, I think. Another thing I'm reading is I was sent this from Retrofit. It's manga. It's called Troublemakers. Did anybody read this? I read the first story out of it. It was pretty good. The cover is a little off-putting to me, but actually the comics are really good. So yeah. Well, I mean, anyway, the first story is pretty good. I only read the first story. Hey, if my internet goes out, there's a reason why I'm Noah, the man with the bad internet, Van Skyver. It's because my internet sucks. So if all of a sudden I drop out, that's what it is. It's just my internet just shuts off around this time every day, and it's always really annoying because I'll be doing those chat videos, and then all of a sudden my internet will just cut out, and it'll be like with somebody that I had to beg basically to talk to me, and then all of a sudden they're like, I'm frozen and I'm gone. And they're like, what the fuck? So yeah, I'll just hang out, and then I'll try and get back on. Another book that was sent to me, more manga, sent to me by Glacier Bay, Children of Mootown. I haven't read this one yet, so I don't have anything to say about it, but I will read it. No, I can still sell it. The value isn't that. No, it's still good. It has a protective cover on it, this gold cover. I guess what they did was DC Comics took whatever copies of Action Comics they had left, and they put this protective cover over it, cardstock, to help it out, to strengthen it so it could survive in the future. And I think that well, if I remove it, I don't know. I'll have to think about it, but I think it's in pretty good shape anyway, and I think the protective cover kind of reassures any like future buyer that it's going to be in good shape, you know. Also, another comic I really like that I'm picking through, Steve Ditko, Strange Suspense, Volume 1. Pretty amazing cover, and great stories. A little weird, a little weirdly drawn, but pretty good. So I put the link in here in the chat somewhere, but nobody has the guts. Nobody has the guts to come in here. Let's see. Let's see. Oh my God. I shouldn't be showing this much of Glenn's book, but I feel like I'm promoting it, so this is a good thing. Yes, David, come on in, man. It'd be great to talk to you. I haven't seen you in a long time. I didn't wreck it, man. It's totally fine. It's not wrecked. It's still worth a lot of money. Do you know how many copies of Action Comics there are that are in various states of disrepair, but they're still worth a lot of money? This is in really good condition compared to a lot of those comics. And I only tore the first page of it, so it's still fine. You're just trying to freak me out, I think. Oh my God, it's Josh. Josh, you're welcome to come on in again if you want to as well, man. We had fun last time. And it'll still be fun as long as my internet doesn't go out. All right. Oh, damn, I just closed out Glenn's book. I'm not supposed to be reading that. Do you guys go to the Comics Journal, the website? Do you check it out? Because I was reading this review. Hey, what's up? What's going on with your audio? Sucks, man. Yes, I did. All the copies of the comics that I sold are coming out, are headed to you now. Yeah, sorry for any lateness, but they're all out, and you'll get yours soon. David.
Hey, how about now?
What the hell was with? What was that?
I was snapping my fingers.
It was like.
But can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's
All
going
right.
on, man? I haven't seen you in a long time. I haven't seen you since the spark plug days.
I look terrible.
No, you look.
Every time I look at myself in these cameras, I feel like my whole face is lopsided like this.
No, it's not true. So,
okay, cool.
Are you drawing any chairs and tables for a cartooner?
Yeah.
Are you really?
I just drew a bunch of table settings on I had to draw 3 poses of a table with a bunch of plates and glasses on it.
And what show is it for?
Loud House.
Oh, is that the only show you work on?
It's the only show I ever really have worked on, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that you were like an Adventure Time guy.
No, I've only worked at Nickelodeon. I guess I did a little bit for that show that Levon works on.
What is that? What is that?
It's called Tig and Seek. It's on Cartoon Network. The Cartoon Network shows are for older kids.
Mm-hmm.
Nickelodeon is for I don't know, under 10 years old and then preschool. So
Yeah.
we can't do the druggy humor and stuff like Adventure Time.
What other cartoonists work on Loud House?
Jared Morgan worked on it for a long time, but he has moved on now. He does comics. Yeah, there's not a lot of comics people on it.
Oh, I thought it was one of those. I guess not. Every time I go to LA, it's like every cartoonist, everybody who used to make comics when I was starting out, they're all out there and everybody's working on a show.
They went to Cartoon Network. They're all bros, and I was never part of the mix, I guess. So it took me 20 years to get my animation job.
Is there a rivalry between Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network?
Not that I know of, but maybe I'm in the wrong clique.
Oh, okay. And then what about your comics? Are you still drawing comics?
Yeah, I was doing like an Instagram comic. I'm kind of still in the middle of it. I haven't worked on it in about a month and a half, though.
You do. I have to go back and look at it, I guess. So it's like a panel a day comic?
No, what I'll do is do a 6-panel page and put each of the panels up as a swipe through like lots of people do.
Yeah. Cool, man.
But I've only got 28 pages done in over a year, so I'm pretty slow at it.
So I'm trying to remember the mini comic series that you were doing. Is that a part of it? The one that you're doing on Instagram? Is it crime? The
Instagram thing isn't Crime World, no.
Oh, Crime World?
I kind of gave up on that, I think. I did a Crime World comic, and I drew almost all of it in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And then I finally got around to finishing it and put it out in 2019 or something, 2020. A 30-page mini comic. So that's my rate. I'm real slow at it.
How many issues of Crime World were there?
5. The 5th one just came out last year.
Yeah, that's the one that I got, but when I read it, I was like, I feel like I'm missing a lot. I don't know what's going on here.
So. No, there's one more before that has that same cop character in it, but that's it.
Was your intention to collect that stuff as a graphic novel?
No, it was just to do a comic.
Oh.
I was talking to Kevin Huizenga one time. He was out here and he was like, yeah, those early Crime Worlds, you ever gonna collect those? And I'm they're not good enough. Why would I do that? It's probably what you feel about your early Blamos, but those are actually much better than early Crime Worlds.
No. That's not. That's not true. Oh man, what about all the early stuff that you did, Lemon Styles and things like that? You don't have any interest in collecting all that stuff?
Oh, I'd do that maybe. I mean, I don't know. I kind of only stand by about 1/3 of those as being any good, but I might. I was kind of toying with the idea, which I mean, I would never do it. It'd be impossible, but to just take every comic I've ever made and make a PDF and upload it to Lulu or something, so people could order just a book that has everything in chronological order. And you can see the really awful stuff and then some good stuff and then some stuff where I was just lazy and it's just this big,
Mm-hmm.
That'd be kind of fun to have a book like that.
How did Dylan Williams find you? You were at the Zine Fairs doing like mini comics and stuff like that?
No, I can't really remember how I ever met up with him, because I think I just kind of like, when I lived in Chicago, I was hanging out with that guy on Smith, Jeremy Smith,
Yeah.
my best friend back then. And he was like, dude, Sparkplug, that's a publisher that people ought to get published by, you know, like they were one of the top ones back in whenever that was, 2003 or something.
Hmm.
Like if you wanted an indie book, you know, like you can't get into Fantagraphics or Drawn Quarterly, but Sparkplug is attainable, and Ad House maybe is attainable.
Yeah.
And I think I came out to, I was in San Diego, and I think I just emailed him and was like, can I work at your booth at Comic-Con, Dylan?
Huh.
Maybe he knew me from online or something, but yeah, eventually I just kind of weaseled my way into working the booth.
And then you put out your work.
Eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, he was great, dude. Those were the days. OnSmith comes up like every time I do a video. Somehow, this guy comes up, and it must be so frustrating because you can't buy any of his comics. Like you
I
can't.
know.
They're not on eBay. They're not sold in any like online store. Spit and a Half doesn't have them. Like they just don't exist.
Well, yeah, I don't think he's put out a new comic in a decade, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's so good. I don't know what's going on. I sent him a message a while back, like just to get his address or something. I'm like, put out a new comic, and he's like, I wish I could. So I don't know, like maybe he's like lost a finger or something. I have no idea.
Well, I think he's teaching, right?
I don't know. I don't know what he does.
Oh man,
I'm really out of touch with him. He was such a good friend back then, and now I never talk to him. Like once there's a continent between you, like I don't know. I'm bad at staying in touch.
Yeah, I understand. But I love that guy, and I only saw him whenever I'd be in Chicago, and then you know, it's like him, and then who's that guy who was always in the anthologies? He was like in Mome, who was really great. Bennett.
John Bennett, yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck? You can't find his stuff either.
Yeah, he never put out anything. He put out like 3 mini comics, and then he was in Mome, and then yeah, he just faded away. I don't know what, like he was a book designer or something.
But he's
incredible. Rich at book design.
He was like just as good as any of the top alternative cartoonists. You know?
Oh yeah, he's super good. And he remember those little mini comics that came out? They were this big, and they were in a little like a cocaine Ziploc bag.
I never saw those. No.
Yeah, it was one about, I think it's just like about him on a rainy day, and the gag is that it's in a raincoat Ziploc bag, kind of. But it has like he did a print GoCo printed cover.
Yeah.
They're really beautiful little tiny zines.
Yeah, that was called Torrential or something like that, wasn't it?
Probably. That would make sense.
I think that one was reprinted in one of Ivan's collections.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah, he was so big. Like back then when I first got to Chicago, like Jonathan Bennett and Jeff Brown, and even OnSmith to a degree, like these guys were the peak of mini comics artists.
Yeah.
And now none of them does anything anymore, really.
Like there was like a little crew of Anders Nilsson, Paul Hornschmeyer, and Jeffrey Brown. They were like the cartooning buddies, and I don't know how that came about, but like they were just like always.
Oh yeah, it was called Holy Consumption, right?
That's right. Yeah. Was it a web? I think it was like a web store or something.
It was a website, and Hankiewicz was on it too, to some degree.
Yeah, he was great too. It's funny. I looked through those old. I just got a copy of Mome #4, the one with the crayon color cover. The Matt Brinkman cover.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
It's a big blue book, and it's like colored all in crayons on the cover. And it's such a slice of that era where you're opening it up, and it's like for some reason everybody had discovered the rainbow gradient in Photoshop. So it's like every comic has that like gradient going across it and stuff, And
Ben Jones did that a ton, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh man, Paper Rad. And then everybody was ripping off Paper Rad and Paper Rad. Yeah, that was the best. Look at this. What's up?
Hi, El Crudo.
Yeah, I love that era though, and even like the giant Kramers. Do you have a copy of that?
I never got it.
Really?
I was too poor when it came out.
Yeah.
I saw it on Last Gasp was maybe having a huge sale like 2 years ago. Like everything was 75% off, and I'm like, oh, they have those giant Kramers for 75% off, and I still didn't take the plunge. I should have.
Yeah, I got it luckily because Kilgore Books, they just like wholesale ordered some and then gave me a copy of it. But my copy was like sitting out in my mom's back porch. It's like all water damage. It's kind of messed up. But I was looking at it, and it has all, it has a really beautiful Jonathan Bennett page where he's like in an elevator and he's pretending he's playing the drums in the elevator.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. The one thing that's like really funny about Kramer's is or like that issue in particular is I remember there was like an SPX where that book came out, and I think Dan Nadell stole a copy of it. Do you remember hearing about that? Like from the Buenaventura booth?
How many people are in the chat?
27.
Yeah. We should talk about it later. No, that was fucked up.
Yeah. I don't think any of that stuff matters anymore, man. I don't.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, it's like such old news in comics,
Yeah. Did you see that comic that it was in Comic? What is it? Comic Ot #3 that Matt Thurber did about Dan Nadell.
Yes, I just saw that.
It's a weird comic. It's funny. Like he sounds like a real sick guy.
That was such a great comic, man, because it just seemed like Matt was just pouring out every memory he had of working with Nadell. It was really entertaining. It was great.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, Comic Ot. And then what's your comic in that issue of Comic Ot?
It's an autobiographical comic.
But that's not real, though. That's not a real. It's not real. It's at all.
He said he's always like, yeah, David, do whatever you want. And so I did this whole comic, and it was like, I had this idea for kind of a made up autobiographical comic with one little bit of reality in it.
Yeah.
I sent it to him, and Austin's like, well, it doesn't have anything to do with comics. Like that's his main thesis for the magazine, is that everything is about comics. So I had to put on a whole like intro thing at the beginning of it to address how like I'm an artist, a cartoonist, and this is my experiment with autobiographical comics.
Yeah.
It has kind of like a Mad Magazine intro on the first panel that I didn't originally put in there.
And then you did another comic in a different issue that was about I'm trying to remember. It wasn't about Rob Liefeld, was it? It was like one of the Image guys or something?
It was about Keith Giffen.
That's right.
Yeah.
Trencher is impossible, man. I don't like that comic at all. I like Keith Giffen, but I've tried to read Trencher. I can't get into that.
It sucks. It's hard to read.
Yeah, it's just really crazy. And it's like his style is really interesting. That's why I keep the issues, because I'm like, yeah, but it's fascinating to see like how an artist just changed so much.
Maybe someday you'll be ready for those.
Yeah. Well, can you actually sit there and read those issues of Trencher?
I mean, I did when I first got them. I probably did when I was making that comic.
Yeah. There's like a Christmas issue of Trencher.
The problem with once you've read a lot of Keith Giffen comics, they're really repetitive. Like he uses the same jokes over and over again. And the page layouts are all really meat and potatoes. And it's like, I've read this before. I've read this one already. These jokes are terrible, and on and on.
Yeah.
And so when he also went in those Trenchers, he put on that really incoherent kind of drawing style on top of it. It's like, these are weird. They're not that great. They're not easy to read. But it's funny. It's funny and strange that he went for it like that, and he thought he was gonna have a hit or something,
Mm-hmm.
Or even if he didn't think he was gonna have a hit, he still did it. He did a bunch of comics like that.
Yeah, like if you read those Lobo comics that he did, there was one I remember reading this miniseries that he did like last year about where he's taking some old lady, he's on a space motorcycle, and he has to like travel with some old lady to another planet or something. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah,
I think that's the first Lobo miniseries.
Yeah,
it's his. He's hired to like protect his school teacher or something from when he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that, or assassinate her. I don't know which. But yeah, there's this gnarly looking old lady with like a big
Yeah,
or something, right? Yeah,
I
that's
think he just kills her at the end.
probably.
Yeah. I love all that stuff. I met Keith Giffen one time. And
Really?
yeah, and he was just like not how I imagined. He was just like a old guy sitting there with a baseball hat.
I read a bunch of interviews with him when I was working on that comic, just from that period, and he just seems like kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
Like he's just kind of a contrarian type of person. Like if the fans don't want me to kill Superman's neighbor, I'm gonna kill Superman's neighbor. Fuck him. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, you're just kind of a jerk. But in other ways, he seemed nice. But he just seems like he's kind of a, I don't know. I don't want to say dumb, but he's just not, like, he's only good at drawing comics in like this superhero context of 9 or 6 panels, like kind of copied from Kirby,
Mhm.
and just saying the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. Well, I have some Keith Giffen stories I shouldn't tell on a live stream, but I'll tell you some other time. But yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. I've gotten to meet like some mainstream cartoonists pretty casually, and have stories about all of them that I can't.
Oh, I want to hear him. I want to hear about Keith Giffen.
Next time I do LA Zine Fest.
Uh-huh. Have you ever done LA Zine Fest?
Yeah, I did. I did it. It might have been one of the first one. It was in 2015. I don't know when it started, but that was when I was last.
Whoa. Wow, was it that long ago? I never tabled at it. I've gone to a handful of them. Oh, he froze. Can you still hear me? I don't know. I don't know if I can carry a live stream by myself. You think he'll come back? I got this comic the other day. Story of Motley Crue. So actually some interesting cartooning in here. This one's called Snotley Crew. Not as good as Noah at doing this. Hope he comes back. What should I talk about, everybody? There's a Rock and Roll Comics documentary. Does it have like these guys in it? Does it have Todd Lauren in the Rock and Roll Comics documentary? My Giffen story was in But Is It Comic Ot number 2. Here's number 3. This just came out. I have a comic in here. But number 2 has my Keith Giffen story, and I did a story in issue number 1 about Mort Weisinger, who is the brains behind Silver Age Superman comics. Oh, Todd Lauren's the guy who was murdered, huh? I think I remember hearing about that. You'll get it. If you don't ever get it, just get in touch with Austin. Yeah, I should do a cartoonist kayfabe style video.
I'm back. Yeah.
Hey, bro.
Sorry about that. I told you my internet sucks.
I've been holding down the fort here. We've been talking about Rock and Roll Comics.
Yeah. Here we got Andy.
Thanks,
Hey.
David Hartman. Hey, Andy.
Thanks for joining us.
Hey guys.
Oh, what were you guys talking about in the chat, man? I feel like I missed a lot.
Yeah, I missed a lot as well because I had to try and get set up. So
Oh man, Paul
randomly changed the subject.
Yeah. Whoa. Sorry, I'm catching up.
Yes.
Cape style breakdown.
I showed off this issue of Rock and Roll Comics I got the other day at the dollar bin.
Oh, who did that?
Well, there's a bunch of different artists. It's all written by this guy Todd Loren, who I was reminded was murdered by somebody. But there's a bunch of different art styles in here. Doing Motley Crue comics. Like this is like it's kind of amateurish looking, but sort of neat.
What do you guys feel about anthologies?
About anthologies?
Yeah,
I love it.
I really struggle with them. I know you were talking about them the other day. There's the Now anthology, which I just read only because you mentioned it. And that I think because all the artists in that are very strong, so it kind of works, and you get a chance to read. You know, if it's like 8 or 10 pages for each person. But I just really find anthologies really stick with me that I never keep hold of them because there might be one good person in there, and then you know it just doesn't gel.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I've actually kind of sidelined people because they were only in anthologies, and then you finally see their work as a more completed, larger project, and then you're like, oh yeah, it works. But I think anthologies can suck people in. As there's a lot in Britain, there's a lot of people doing anthologies, and it really sucks a lot of artists in, and it stops them from working on something. You can't hear their voice because the pages are too small, and it's just like it's not an accomplished small story. You can't really see their writing style. It just doesn't work. So, but I just did read the Now, and that was actually pretty good. Everyone in there had a really decent stack of storytelling. It was great.
Which issue of Now did you read?
8.
8. Is that the Al Columbia cover?
Yeah. I had that book in my hands. I was just in Boston. I was just in Toronto before COVID, which is great. I got that holiday in because I'm probably not going to get to the States for a few years at this rate.
Yeah.
But I had a copy of it, the Al Columbia kind of his own sort of thing that he just did, the newspaper size one, and I just didn't know what to make of it. It was a bit too gory for my taste, and I just decided to leave it. But now looking back, I was like, I really appreciate his line work.
Yeah.
Go.
I think anthologies, it depends on the artist that you get, because writing short stories is kind of its own skill, apart from being able to write a graphic novel. So if you can gather enough cartoonists who know how to tell a really good compact narrative that builds over 10 pages or whatever, you'll have a really solid anthology. But a lot of people just don't know how to do that and don't really have an interest in doing that.
Well, the problem here is usually they don't get 10 pages. They get like 3 or 4 pages, which is just doesn't work. I think you're better off with less people. But the Now is a rare exception that everybody in that is a quality. Have you heard of Scarf?
No.
It's like a newspaper. Have you guys not heard of that? It's a newspaper thing from, I think, Seattle. I think they're Seattle-based. Scarf Comics. And the way they do it is you can buy yourself in for
I think $50. Yeah, I think somebody's complaining that it's kind of a pay-to-play type of deal, that you should just they should be paying you.
There's that whole argument, but it's a way to keep something like that going, that you get 100 copies yourself. I think, don't quote me because I'm just going off what someone else is trying to get me to maybe join in, but it's producing some good work, and it's getting things out there. It's a regular thing. It can be a tough sell, but the newspaper format I find is a bit. People don't know how to stock that in shops. I did a lot of that in the 90s.
There's that other newspaper in Portland. Chris Silla's always in it, and they just give them away. Like somehow this gang gets a bunch of money. They print out the newspapers and they kind of leave them at coffee shops. I think it's just free.
Yeah. Doesn't Doesn't Image Comics work like that, where you have to pay them to get your book published or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think they have to take you on, and they pay the printing.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's like 2,500 or something for an issue of your comic for Image to put it out or something, and then they.
I don't know. That couldn't be right. Wouldn't people like? I feel like people really come down hard on that kind of pay to play type of stuff because, like, oh, our business is taking money from artists to stay in business. Like
Yeah.
that's
You
really
have to
sketchy.
be very transparent with your bookkeeping there to keep everyone happy. I've been involved with projects like that before, and everyone gets very paranoid very quickly.
Mhm.
And people mistakenly assume that the guy at the top is making money, and I don't think anyone but the printer is making money. And in my experience, I was a printer for 20 years. In my experience, the printers often aren't making that much money either.
Yeah. They say that about is it Koosh?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of run, or is it? No, it's not Koosh. It's that it's the UK thing that puts out those really high production value books like
Oh. What are they called?
Lowbrow.
Yeah,
No.
Nobrow. Yeah.
Yeah, like I've heard that it's run by like a trust fund guy, and you pay him to have him publish your stuff or something like that. Like it sounds really, really awful. I don't know.
There was a thing with people not getting paid, and there was a thing. Yeah, I'm not sure that's all come out in the wash, but at the minute people aren't touching them, which is a shame because it was they published a few people's part 1 and 2 of something, and parts 3 and 4 are never going to get. When will they get published? So it's a bit of a shame, but.
Are they not publishing anymore? Nobrow? Are they done?
I don't know what they're doing. No one's approaching them, but I don't know if they're still doing that. I've done it myself a few times. There's quite a lot of grants in the UK you can get, and in the 90s I got a few grants for things, and was as transparent as possible about trying to pay contributors. But people get paranoid pretty quickly that somehow you're making money. It's just like, no, I've got boxes and boxes stuck in my bedroom, and no one's making any money, but. I swore I'd never do an anthology again, but I might actually get that on things that we're reading. Well, if I'm honest, that's in the pile.
Oh yeah, look at that. Awesome.
Which I just found. I found in a second-hand shop, and I just love the pacing in this, and I love these interspersed pages.
Yeah, thank you.
In fact, I really love what you do with the rest of your stuff, where it's a repeated format, and then you'll break that up with a large page thing. I've been reading this.
Is that good? I mean, I have kind of reservations about graphic novel adaptations of books.
Yeah, no. So I think as an adaptation, I think it's okay, but I'm like, what is the point, really? But this guy's artwork is just, I'm really not interested in the story at all. I'm really interested in how this guy designs tech. Have you come across the live stuff? The panel syndicate stuff of his?
No.
So have we lost Noah again?
Oh, I don't know. I just don't know who you're talking about. Who's the artist?
So the artist is Albert Montanet.
Oh,
and
I've heard of Brian North, but I don't know.
And he's have you heard of the Panel Syndicate though? Those guys that they've got a website and you can download the book for as much or as little as you want.
Oh.
And he's done a series on there called Universe, which I think is possibly the best sci-fi series that I've read in the last 10 years.
Wow.
But his artwork is amazing. It does take him a while, so it's worth checking this one out. I mean, it's the old Kurt Vonnegut story, the Slaughterhouse-5, but it's the artwork and the way he lays out the pages and designs his tech is just incredible. If that's what you're into, which is what I'm into. His storytelling is just incredible. Well, this is my worry about coming on. It was just you and I would end up hosting it because
I know it's weird.
No one's got a cup of tea or something. But yeah, the other thing, if we're talking about other things, I finally got round to reading this.
Oh yeah, what'd you think of that? I've never read any sustained amount of that guy's comic.
I can't read on Instagram, so I've looked at it on Instagram, but And someone else, Noah was just talking with someone else the other day who voiced my concern was that I dismissed it as hipster, just,
Yeah.
hipster nonsense. But the characters have an arc. The story, I just found I couldn't put it down, basically.
Yeah, I remember when he got really big on back in the Tumblr era, and I remember reading it on there. I think it might be that same stuff in that book, but yeah, it's really readable and kind of funny. But it just seemed like, I don't know, it seemed like you get to the end of the page and it's like kind of repetitive. But like I said, I didn't read a lot of it, and people were really, really raving about the Instagram stuff, like best comic of 2020 or something. So,
I've yet to read it's his pandemic version. I think the character's going through the pandemic, and people related to that, obviously, going through themselves. Did you draw anything for the pandemic? Anything specific for the pandemic?
Me, no.
No, it was that thing right at the very first couple of weeks. Everyone was like, "Oh, your business has folded for a while. Why don't you just draw a panel a day?" And I'm like, "Do you know how hard and how that is to do?"
Well, I mean, I did start a comic, but it wasn't. I don't know. I don't think it was because of the pandemic. I think it was just because, I don't know, that was the mood I was in or something. But yeah, I still had my job, so I didn't have any time on my hands.
Right. Well, I've still. We managed to get the business online, and it was okay. In fact, I'm a movement teacher, so it was just that the gyms were all shut, and I had to shut my studio.
A movement teacher? My wife is a movement teacher. She teaches actors in LA.
Oh, I have not heard of that. How do you spell that? ACK?
What?
How do you spell actors?
Actors. She teaches at an acting school.
Actors, right. I'm so used to
me around. Like, I've never heard of those people.
I was like, oh, who's that?
No, she teaches at the Lee Strasberg acting school. She's been teaching movement there for a long time, but you're more of a fitness movement instructor, it sounds like.
No, more rehab. So I teach, one of my specialties is teaching people with MS.
Oh, wow.
And Parkinson's and that sort of thing. So I'm more that kind of a teacher.
Oh, okay.
No, we were just talking about pandemic comics because I held up on my reading pile. I finally gave in and got this just because I found it somewhere. But if you read 500 pages of it, then it kind of sucks you in, is what my conclusion was.
Kind of a classic.
Fante, I have to say that speaking of 500 pages that sucked me in, the story arc on that was just fantastic. I loved it.
Oh man, go on.
It was very unexpected because I was expecting a shorter thing, more like this, and I was expecting very much like we just said about Megahex, that a sort of a pattern to the storytelling. But you broke right out of that, and there was other characters, and they all went on their own story arcs. And it was one of those things when I finished the last page, I felt really fulfilled that I'd spent that much time with the characters.
Wow, thanks. And I want to do another one. I'm kind of, when I finished that book, I was like, all right, I'm done with this character. That's so long. But now I have all these new ideas, and I've been writing a lot of Fante stuff in a notebook. So I might bring him back and do like a mini comic or something. Because I like the idea of him wanting to be a Southern writer and moving down south and getting his parents to buy him a house and stuff like that. I don't know. I have a lot of, and especially I have like a bunch of like Fante during the pandemic jokes written, and I'm like,
right,
I got to do this. So
we were just talking about that, the pandemic, and whether you'd done straight away. Because I draw comics, everyone was like, why don't you just start drawing a panel a day? And the weight of that idea just kind of crushed me instantly. But when I managed to save my business and put it online with the help of other people, including my wife, it's amazing. It just gave me more time to do one of my other projects. So one of my other projects is one of my specialties is connective tissue disorders for movement for people. And I was going to ask you guys if you heard of graphic medicine, which is a theme of medical comics, basically.
I have Rachel Lindsay is a cartoonist in Vermont. She works in that genre. But I
Right.
think it's about like mental
Well,
health.
you guys recommended MS Harkness's one, and I've just read that today. Funnily, I just read it while I was in a hospital getting some blood tests. But I just noticed she's been nominated to be represented with the graphic medicine sort of crew, which is great.
Yeah, she's really good. Her comics are great.
Yeah, I gave a little presentation on it. The thing that comics gave to this is basically a lot of the books that are already on. So I wrote a book on connective tissue disorder, but there's a lot of books on it, and they're very boring and it's very medical. And I would recommend them to my clients. Oh, you want to read this book? It's got loads of information in it. But if you're basically not someone that wants to plow through a medical dictionary, so the pandemic's given me the time to work on that.
Yeah, that's cool. There's
I want one of those comics. Can I order it from you?
Yeah, do you have a link?
Yeah, actually, I think it was on sale on my website on the can we do this through Noah later on? No, you've not got my email.
You can also drop the link in the chat.
I don't think it's on. I think it's yeah, I don't know. It's on the Leaf Pilates site. It was on my Pilates site. I was going to ask you about posting. I'm always screwed because I'm posting to the States. So, Noah, I was going to ask you those last couple of things you posted me. Did that cost you money, or did you manage to get postage right on that?
Dude, it's crazy. I'm like, whenever I post a comic in my big cartel, I really get a sense of like where people are, like where they're from, and everybody's in the UK. I swear, it's like half of the orders are coming from the UK or Australia, just like all these places, Spain. So I'm like, I posted them, and yeah, it does. It costs a lot of money, but it probably actually, to be honest, it costs about $6 to post a mini comic overseas.
That's good. I wondered if I'd shortchanged you on that one, but because there's a couple of other people. I was going to talk about Patreon there. You actually really deliver on your Patreon, and the number of artists I've joined on Patreon, and I won't name names, although I'm really tempted to. And they immediately just like, oh, I didn't manage to finish. They promised 2 pages of artwork a week or a month or something, and they immediately break their promise on like. And I'm just like, come on, guys.
Yeah. Well, I give it
more than delivering. You're totally right. You should take a break. But you won't have a chance. You should take a break when your son comes along. Is it a son you're having? Sorry.
Yeah. That's right. Actually, the nurse referred to him as a man. Congratulations, you're having a man.
That would be full on if a full-grown man appeared from your wife's.
Look at those abs. That's what she said. She was pointing out on the ultrasound.
His abs?
Yeah, he's got abs. Look at this guy. He's a little baby Hercules.
I could actually bore you with some facts about how your abs form first as a fetus, and you curl up and then you uncurl, and it's the source of a lot of people's movement issues, and it's one of the reasons why artists you basically were kind of fetal as artists.
I've been waiting for my abs to develop my whole life.
They're there. You wouldn't be able to walk around if you didn't have them. They're there, but whether they're hidden under some layers of pandemic fat like mine are, or not. But yeah, abs are the source of. But you form as a fetus, and then you kind of uncurl.
Yeah.
Your back muscles form and basically open you out. And so the opening exercises are very. Oh, your wife will be well into that. For emotional connection, especially for actors. Yeah, that's opening people up emotionally and physically, and to get them in touch with themselves. Yeah, it's a great trick. You get someone.
That's what her class is about, I think. Right.
Yeah. I mean, it really. If you get someone that's got ME or someone that is depressed, and you try and you get them to open up, you've got to deal with a mental and physical aspect that comes with that.
She comes home and at this school, they take a lot of people who are on the, what do they call it? It's a thing where they give military veterans like money to go to college.
Right. Some sort of scholarship.
Yeah, there's a lot of those people, and it's kind of a grift because they're like, I'll go to acting school. I don't have to do anything, and they'll pay me to go here.
But she's a good teacher. She makes them work.
I think there are people who are really resistant and won't. Like there's these kind of macho guys who won't won't be instructed by a woman. They won't open up their feelings. Like, you're in acting class and you won't put it out there. It sounds really hard, and like they suck. It just sucks.
Yeah, I was a few years. I've been doing it for 12 years, and I was a few years in before I decided that I was actively going to turn people away. So if I get someone with that attitude, I'll just be like, "Sorry, I can't help you. Come back to me when you're ready to open up, and I'll give you your money back, and off you go." I just won't have any. I won't waste my time on that, basically. But
yeah, she has to.
When I work with people who have crippling illnesses who are dying to, queuing for me to spend some time with them, then I'm just not going to do that. Noah's said before that he likes to see people in their environment, and you can see their shelf behind you. But I was just saying, I converted my back room, which was normally would have this amazing shelf that I would love to show off, but we've had to turn that into the Pilates studio in the house for the pandemic. But I've got a few things here. My next thing is this.
Oh yeah, let me see. What is that?
Oh, I love this guy. He's so good, Jerry Martin.
It's just, there's that thing with Instagram where some days you look at it and go, "Oh my God, I'm never going to be that good. I need to just go away and forget drawing ever." And he's definitely someone that, looking at his Instagram page, could be depressing, stroke inspiring. And this was, I think it was a Kickstarter, but he just did a panel a day on Instagram. And then he sort of to see where it went. But he's a master of mood, and he's got that kind of animator feel to his stuff where all the characters are very considered.
Yeah, he does this thing that he posts every now and then. It must be from some book, but it's like a little fox character in like a cloak, and he's out in the woods, and then these really amazing drawings, and they have great, like, it's Photoshop color, but it looks really great.
So all his and again, the story arc, he just sat down and drew it, but the story arc, it's pretty thick, and you can buy that. It's Europe, so for a change, it's the Americans having to pay a fortune to post it to America.
Did he self-publish that?
It kind of and not kind of. I think it's his mate that runs Black and White, because they have all. It's someone that understands him and his work, because they publish every sketchbook he does and every little thing. So. It's good. It wasn't cheap. It was almost £45. So what would that be? That would be like $60-70 or something. So it wasn't cheap, but it was my 50th birthday present last year. So I felt happy to get that. Guys, I'm going to have to go because we've got a vote here. There's a big vote on the whole country's voting for various things, and I live in Scotland, and it's very important to vote. So I'm going to have to go, but I'm so happy I could join you.
Yeah, thanks for having
nice to meet you.
Noah, you've got a bunch of my things on your way to your house.
Great, thank you.
You can just stick that on your pile. David, if Noah hooks us up with an email, I've just checked. It's not. We must have taken it off our. You can't order it online, the comic. But if Noah's kind enough to share the email, I will just put something in the post to you.
Okay, I mean, that's awesome. I would order it off a website because I don't want you to lose money on it.
I don't think we've got. Well, I think the postage on it's £1, which is not going to cut it. And I'll stick in a bunch of my personal, my little mini comics, so we could just do an exchange at some point or something.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, if your wife is interested in connective tissue stuff, it's basically my thing.
I think she might be interested.
No, it's lovely to see you, and it's so weird because I listen to hours and hours of you talking while I'm walking the dog, and then I actually I seem to know a lot about your life, and I've read a lot of books of yours, which you put a lot of your life in. So it's so nice to be able to connect back with you.
Thank you very much. It's good to see you.
Like I say, I've got to go and vote, guys. So it's lovely. How do I get out? Do I just close the window and it'll launch?
I'll remove you. See you later, man.
Cheers.
See you later, Andy.
David, do you still read comics, or are you sick of reading comics?
I only just got sick of reading comics like in the last month.
Oh, really? What did it for you? What threw you over the edge?
I don't know. I've been buying like dollar comics and stuff and just reading them. I'm like, these suck. They're terrible. I haven't found a comic that's really even like. I even started reading. Started reading Rusty Brown, and I'm like, that's good, but I've read most of this before, and it's not quite as good as some of Chris Ware's other stuff or something. I don't know. It's like I don't know if this is like a great comic and I'm out of it, or if it's just not a great comic, or what. So I need to start reading novels or history books or something.
Yeah, I haven't read that one yet. I feel ashamed to admit it. I haven't read Rusty Brown.
Well, I read them when they were coming out as Acme Novelty Libraries, and
Mhm.
I kind of remember all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever read the conclusion of it or anything.
Here's what I'm reading. You might approve of this. I'm reading Popeye, Volume 2.
Yeah.
Have you read that?
I had like the first one of those, and it was just such an awful format. Like they're too small in that book, so I never read it.
Oh, God damn it, David. I thought you liked Popeye.
I mean, I like it. I think that's a guy's a great cartoonist, and it's a good strip, but I couldn't get into it because of that book, because of the format.
Yeah. Well, I agree that it's a very tall book, and it's kind of awkward to read because I read my comics at night before bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just kind of awkward, but I am enjoying it. And I was kind of ashamed to admit that I never read Popeye.
Yeah.
Classic comic that I just didn't. I never. I don't know. It was just not for me. But now I'm reading it and I like it. I think it's actually pretty funny. So.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it, so I should check it out. Hey,
Yeah.
Todd Bot.
Hey,
Todd
what I
Bot.
missed?
Guys, I just started uploading some junk to Nickelodeon, so my internet might suck. So we'll see.
My internet sucks. So I've already dropped out twice on this stream.
Yeah, I'll be doing better than you at least.
It happens. I don't know what it is. It's so annoying, man. It's like every afternoon it just drops out. Yeah, it's awful. What's going on with you, Todd?
Just had a salad, drew a poet strip, and I sketched a bunch of toy dinosaurs. So it's been a good morning so far.
Yeah, I've been reading a lot of your comics. The earlier ones that you sent were, you must have liked James Kochalka a lot, right?
Yeah, I mean, we started showing up at the same time, so that's been the kind of the bane of my existence is comparisons to James. I like his stuff. Yeah, we both were doing the Diary Comics thing, which mine there was inspired by him, but from a mini comic, so it was like before he had it on the internet, but yeah, we draw alike, but our subject matter is completely opposite.
Yeah, no, I wasn't trying to offend you or anything. I just thought like, oh yeah, I can see like maybe he was like into James Kochalka at this point, and then like later on your stuff becomes totally individual.
Thanks.
It just seemed like that was the doorway that you entered.
Yeah, it was him and like Brian Ralph and those guys were like the like you hear stories about people seeing the Velvet Underground and then starting a band. It was like they kind of gave me permission to draw how I draw.
Yeah.
And not try to do something else, like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. I really like your comics, and I like that mixture of poetry and cartooning. It's cool.
Thanks. I mean, they're super similar, I feel like, comics and poetry. So doing a comic about poetry is kind of,
Do you like King Cat?
What's that?
Do you read King Cat comics?
Oh God, yeah.
Okay.
John, yeah.
Yeah.
John's high in my my pantheon of folks, going all the way back to when I was 16 or whatever.
Yeah. What about you, Todd? Are you reading any comics right now, or are you sick of them like David is?
I was not reading a lot of comics until lockdown happened. Like right before the world shut down, I started kind of reconnecting with stuff that either older stuff that I had missed or stuff that I'd been meaning to read and just hadn't. So I it was this weird, like I went back and dug through stuff that I haven't looked at in 2 decades. All the old like the Drawn and Quarterly when it was a magazine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great.
All that stuff. And then yeah, I've read a ton of comics this year. I just got
all right.
This is the latest thing I got in the mail, but I haven't read it yet.
Oh yeah. That's awesome. Is that 2D Cloud put that out?
I think so. Yeah.
What? Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Max Badinger. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, I think so.
He's a German, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his Instagram stuff is always cool to look at. So I was waiting for a translation of this.
Can I see that when you open that book up?
Open it up.
Yeah, it's nice.
Oh, weird. Oh, show that blank page.
Yeah. They don't get all up on the texture of the paper stock. Hey, look, it's art mirroring life. Yeah, so I haven't read it yet, but it looks super cool. And I just got the 4th volume of Barnaby. Also,
I need to get that. I heard it's the weakest volume.
yeah, I mean, I wasn't super excited with 3 because I didn't know that Crockett Johnson like stopped doing it himself.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of just like, like half-heartedly reading along just because, you know.
Yeah.
I'm kind of I've been putting off getting those. I have the Dover one. You know, it's like an upright format Barnaby book. Like, is that all I need, or should I read the rest of them?
That's probably it. I mean, there's cool stuff all the way throughout. The nicest thing about the collections is all the extra stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot on contextual notes and sketches and photos.
Oh yeah, those are put together by this like college professor type of person who is like a Crockett Johnson expert, right?
Yeah, like a scholar of Crockett Johnson.
Is it Phil Nell who puts that together?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I think Klaus designed the series.
Yeah,
I think that's true.
Yeah,
I love that stuff. But you know, you could just read the storyline. Oh man, I shouldn't even say this. You can just read like the paperback and maybe the storyline in the Smithsonian book, and that's probably about all you really need.
Yeah.
Unless you're
there's so much in the world to read, you know. Like, do I need to read 300 pages of Barnaby, or could I devote 200 pages to something else?
Yeah, no, read the Peanuts collections instead.
The which?
The Peanuts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you're just wanting to read stuff, you know, Barnaby, it's always been more of a visual for me, that strip. Like, I like how much he did with almost nothing.
Yeah, Peanuts is really good anxiety reading.
Yeah,
you know, you're like at the doctor's office and you're like really stressed out or whatever. It's like use Peanuts. And by the way, I found out one of the worst feelings ever is when you have to go to the doctor and you're in the office, you know, and the person at the reception is trying to get you in and they're fumbling and it's taking them forever on the computer to get everything together. And then you just all you want to do is go home. And just like super stressed out, like, God, I don't want to be here. And they're like, let's see, your name, is this you? And you're like, no, it's not me. You know, that's like the worst like thing ever, man. Oh, Mama Lips.
Hey.
What's up?
Hey, good. How are you all doing?
We're doing good. Do you guys, hey, by the way, David, do you know Todd Webb, the cartoonist below you?
Nope.
Okay.
Seems like an all right guy. Hey, dude.
You guys meet him.
Hey,
And Lynn Mullen or Mama Lips.
Mama Lips.
Yeah, you don't like me.
Hi, Mama.
How you doing?
Good, man. How have you been?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I've just been
I'm not hearing Mama Lips.
You're not here?
Oh, shit.
Sorry.
How about now, Todd?
Test. Oh, shoot.
I can hear him.
I can hear him.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it.
It sounds like maybe Todd's having the problem and not anybody
Get a
else.
big whiteboard, just like write out comments.
I've just been like, I feel like comics for this year have just been like, this is like a really good comics time. Like just so much stuff has come out. Like I wasn't even aware that Alison Bechdel, I wasn't even aware like until like a month ago she was going to have something out. And this thing I came across, which I really want like American audiences to discover,
Whoa.
It's Pseudo
Wow.
by I think a Norwegian artist, Mathilde Digman, and
God.
I wonder if I can like flip my camera or something. But like, can you see that?
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible, and like, it's the kind of thing. It just feels like, how does no one know about this yet? And I just kind of thought your audiences would like really like it, and just obviously the cover and that hot pink is just incredible.
Yeah, that's
So
amazing.
yeah,
Beautiful.
that's my yeah. But I've also just been like finally getting into this guy finally.
Yeah, that book is depressing as hell.
It's so good.
I don't think I read that one. Is that like the most recent one? I read a couple of earlier ones. Yeah, I read that one.
Yeah, it's the newest one. It's about Paul. He's like really old. Well, he's like in his 50s, I think, now or something, and it's like about like health problems and his marriage falling apart and stuff.
Oh, that sounds good. Sounds like what I want to read.
They're so good, but some are really hard to find.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of remember him. He was published by Drawn and Quarterly, and then got demoted to like Conundrum, and I don't know what after that.
Drawn and Quarterly put out his newest book.
Oh, really?
I think so.
I think.
Yeah.
Did they do collections?
A collection.
I think someone has
all the Paul books.
Ooh, wow, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Todd, can you hear Mama Lips now?
No. It's like weird, I'll hear like it like little bits peeking through. I hear you guys fine.
So weird.
Weird.
So weird.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That
But,
internet.
yeah, I'm a big fan of his, and he's apparently like the Hergé of Quebec.
Yeah.
Nice.
Really big deal up there.
Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah. So, I know Todd makes comics, so I'm assuming you make comics as well, David?
Kind of.
He
I
does
make it sometimes.
He makes
Okay.
a lot of comics, but he's just very stingy about who's allowed to see them. He's the
I only do like 100 print run of anything when I make a mini comic.
I do the same.
That'll
Yeah,
pay off
I
in 20
feel.
years.
Yeah, I always feel the same. I feel so like personal about it, and I always get scared the idea of it's going to be out there forever. But then it's so stupid because I'll spend like a year making like a bunch of mini comics for it to be sold out in 6 months. So
See,
I
I
need
don't-
to get past that. Like,
That's not the reason I do it that way. I do it because I hate packing stuff up to put it in the mail
yeah,
and having to wrangle like PayPal payments, like the same stuff that Noah was complaining about. Like, oh, email me $10.
yeah,
Like if somebody would publish it and put it out, that's fine. I don't, like let there be a billion copies out there. I'm not worried. I'm not scared, but but I just don't want to have to deal with it. I kind of like making comics and put them out there, but it's just a burden after a while of like mailing little bits and piecemealing it over a long period of time.
yeah.
Like I want it to be sold out.
Yeah. The production side of it for me is just like, I hate that. Yeah, I want to spend my time drawing the comics, not the other side of like actually putting it together as a PDF and getting it printed and sending it out. Like, I would love to just like pay a friend to kind of do that side of things.
I kind of like making PDFs.
I'm very bad at like InDesign and Photoshop. I always have to ask friends to help me out.
Yeah, I'm the same. In fact, whenever I bring a new, like even this morning, I brought a file to the printer a block away to publish, and they were like, oh, they're like really frustrated with me because my files are never put together properly. The guy's just like really exasperated with me. He's like, oh, God damn, here comes this idiot.
Well, what is there like a brief way you could explain what their problem is with your files?
Well, I don't understand how the trim size. I'm like, oh, I want this book to be like 6x9 or something like that, and then I hand them something, and it's just basically a collection of of like images.
like letter size or whatever.
Yeah. And they're just like, damn.
That's why they're mad. I used to work as a print broker with
Mhm.
my friend Harold, and this was like before print on demand was a thing. He found a way to do like small print runs of like 50 to 100 copies of black and white books for people, and we were kind of like the middlemen between them and the printers. But we would get, and this was when like hand paste ups, like
Oh yeah.
still, all that stuff was still in transition. But we would get people who would send us their books, and like every page was drawn at different dimensions. It's like they couldn't even draw on the same size sheets of paper and stuff, and it was just such a nightmare to try to like reformat everybody's junk. Like it's all this extra work that you don't get to like charge them for, Like it was, so I work in spite of the printers, but at least in digital, it's a lot easier to scale stuff if they have to. But all you got to do is make your files like the size that you want them to be. It's not hard. You can do it. I believe in you.
Yeah, I've done that before. Where like the first issues of Blammo, I remember I didn't know about DPI, just like scan them in like randomly, whatever the scanner was set at. I didn't even think about it, and then I like send to the printer, and then they send me back like an issue, and like just like every other page would be pixelated. I'm like
a potato stamp.
Yeah, what is happening? What the?
That's what I always wondered about back when people were doing web comics, like like on Comics Press websites and stuff. And I kind of got the impression that a lot of these people, their comic strips only existed at like 150 DPI RGB files. Like,
that happened.
What did they do when they wanted to print their books?
That happened to me. I mean, thankfully, I never wanted to print them. But when I was doing my journal comics back in like 2000, first 10 years of the decade or whatever, like those only existed on my website as like the GIFs, like the colored. Like I didn't think to save them at higher res or anything because it was just an exercise. It wasn't any like great work of art. It was just so that I could get better at drawing and post something every day. But when I changed my website over to Squarespace, like to redo everything a couple years ago, it like blew away that server, so they're not online at all anymore. I don't want to go and upload like thousands of crappy GIF files to the internet, and I also don't want to go and like people were like, "Oh, you should print them all in a book," and I'm like, well, one, they're terrible, and two, I don't want to spend like a year scanning in like thousands of pages of bad comics at high res just to like put out a collection for 3 people that might want it.
Yeah, I always get that. If I post like an image on social media that I drew or something, people are always like, "You should make a print of this," and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not falling for that. Like, one person buys it. Thanks a lot. Now I'm in the hole. Yeah.
Can I hype a few more small press UK cartoonists?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
If that's cool. So this is Cleo Isadora. She's incredible,
cool.
and she's about to
awesome.
put out like a graphic novel. Her stuff's just so this is about her parents being anti-vaxxers and taking her to like I'm kind of paraphrasing but like UFO conventions when she was a child, and just her work's just incredible. Like it's really, really good. And yes, that's Cleo Isadora. And Holly Cassio, who's a London cartoonist. This is about her going to New Jersey and looking around like all of Bruce Springsteen's kind of hotspots.
Bruce Springsteen hotspots. A lot of sightings of him here.
This really nice watercolors.
Oh, that looks nice.
This just came out, and I think the print run's almost sold out. So she's going to do like another print run. And this is Cena Sparrow, who does Art Fag.
Yeah, Cena's great.
Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's just about him. This is like a few years old now, but it's so good. Just about him hooking up with guys on Grindr, and like it's just so good. But yeah, I just really wanted to kind of represent some people that maybe aren't as well known in US audiences, possibly.
I didn't even know that Cena was English. I didn't know that.
I'm gonna go grab some.
I think he's based in London at least.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I follow his Instagram. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
forgot I got this yesterday.
Oh, cool.
Oh, rip Richard Saul.
Yeah, the final book.
It's really nice. Like I kind of hope that they go back and give all of his books this treatment, but it's got
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
a good mix of comics and pinups and everything. There's like 4 stories in here.
Are there any essays in that collection?
No, I was kind of bummed out about that. I thought there would be something, but I'm gonna guess that's coming later. Maybe there will be like a really really amazing, the Richard Sala library or something.
Yeah. Yeah, there's Delphine is one of his books that I always want to get, but I can't find a copy of it cheap enough.
Oh, it's good, man. I used to have the individual issues of it. I have the collection somewhere in the closet. But yeah, that came yesterday, and so it was exciting, and it was also sad, because it's like the last rush of a new Richard book.
You have that T.S. Sullivan book that Fantagraphics put out?
I don't think so.
I want it. I
Yeah.
don't have it.
Damn, I want that book. Yeah.
It took so long for a book like that to come out. Like, it was crazy that there hasn't been a T.S. Sullivan book like since the 20s or something,
Yeah. This is it right here. This is the review on the Comics Journal. I think it took them a long time to put this book together. They've been threatening to publish it for a long time.
Yeah. What do you think of that cover?
Yeah, I like it. You do not like it, David?
It looks a little busy to me, but
Oh,
I mean, the book is probably 20 inches tall or something, so it's
Yeah,
maybe not that big of a deal.
and that's where my reservation comes in about picking it up, because I have so many giant books, and I'm like, I don't know if I can. I think my wife will divorce me if I come home with another.
Yeah.
Mm.
Did you get that? It was in Kevin Huizenga's Patreon zine that he sent out this week.
Mhm.
He had a picture of his apartment or whatever, and there was like this podium with one of those big Sunday Press books on it. Like he has a podium set up for a gigantic book so he can stand and read it.
Amazing.
That's perfect. I need one of those.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Because those things are really difficult. You can't take them to bed with you.
What's the biggest book you guys have? Like
And Dan Clowes originals.
Yeah.
oh, what are the is that bigger than the is that bigger than like the
Here. It's this one. Right
Oh.
there. It's Dan Clowes. And this is Gasoline Alley Sundays.
Oh, it's huge.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
bigger than Gasoline Alley? Oh wow, that's crazy.
And this is Chris Ware monogram is this yellow one.
Yeah, I have that one, and Kramer's 7 and the Gasoline Alley are my like oversized monster books.
These two brown ones are Red Sonja by Frank Thorne.
On the what's the weird
I think mine's just
Del
Kramer's.
Tokyo I count in that pile. Just
Oh yeah, that was big too.
Yeah. That's a beautiful issue. That's a really good issue of Kramer's.
Solid.
That's my
Yeah.
I love that Steve Weisman comic in there.
It's so good, man. That's like, it's
He's so great. I love his comics.
it's incredible.
Did you get the thing that the Butter and Blood book that came out of his a couple years back?
I don't have that one yet.
I have it right here, in fact.
Yeah, it's really good. It's all like it's all kinds of like sketchbook stuff and
Yeah.
Maybe I did get that. I can't remember.
It's Retrofit put it out. So
yeah.
Yeah.
collection of like illustration work and stuff.
I have a little original that he gave me. Where is it? It's in the cover of my Barack Hussein Obama. He sent it to me when I worked in San Diego at the print shop.
Nice.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
It's got Zipatone that's turning yellow and falling off. But it's a panel out of, I think, a Doom Patrol comic that he redrew.
Awesome. Do you have that? Speaking of Steve, did you guys get the little Champs books that he did?
I got that. With that orange crap on there.
Yeah.
I remember I saw him at Comic-Con and he was giving those out or selling them or whatever. And
Yeah.
he was annoyed because the print shop gave it back to him with like a blank sheet stapled to the outside of it. And so he was like tearing all those off at the show. And then he gives you this comic and there's orange crap going everywhere. I'm like, you just should have left the blue blank cover on there. And he was just happy to annoy everyone with that orange ink.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna head off. I need to put my kid to bed.
Okay. It was great
Oh.
to see you.
Nice meeting
Yeah.
you.
I'm excited to
Nice-
watch this
nice-
back and hear everything that you've been saying.
I want to get those books.
Yeah, they're really good. Awesome. Take care, everyone. See you
later.
soon.
See you later.
I love just like getting a bunch of cartoonists and then we just show each other the books. It's like whenever I've been at a comic convention and you're staying in another cartoonist house, that's like where everybody goes. They just go to each other's bookshelves and see like what comics they have.
Right.
Yeah, it's really
I
fun.
mean, that was my favorite thing back in like the old SPX days was like sharing a room with like 6 people, and like the highlight was like everybody getting back to the room and like dumping their stuff from the day and like comparing.
Oh yeah.
It's like, what
Like
did you-
Halloween candy.
Yeah.
Yeah. like little kids with baseball cards. It's like got it. Oh, need it.
Yeah. That's so true. And that was fun. I remember going to comic shows.
Yeah, those were a thing.
All right, guys, I'm going to end the stream. We've gone almost an hour and a half.
Cool.
It's a lot of fun, and I really appreciate
I'm
you
gonna
guys.
go back and watch it because I didn't know that it was happening.
Well, all right, man. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks a lot. Really fun, dude. See you later.
See you later.